Good morning, fourth graders. Have you ever wondered where your dreams come from? Maybe, like the dreams that's in this jar, they came to you while you were slept because they were blown to you by the BFG, or the Big Friendly Giant. In this book, The BFG by Roald Dahl, a little girl named Sophie lives in an orphanage in England. One night she can't sleep, and she happens to see what looks to be like a really tall man as he takes the dreams out of a jar and blows them into the houses using a trumpet. The man sees her watching him, and he kidnaps her and runs all the way back to Giant Country so that she won't tell anyone about him. Sophie is scared, but the big man assures her that he is not a canny bully and he will not eat her. He tells her that he is a big friendly giant, and so she decides to call him the BFG. BFG shows her the 9 other giants that live with him and tells her that these giants eat human beings, as he calls them. And they go to different countries every night, gobbling up adults and children alike. Sophie is horrified and wants the BFG to stop them, but he says that he's not strong enough. Sophie asks him what he is doing in their village, and the BFG tells her that he was blowing dreams into the bedrooms of the sleeping children. BFG has rows and rows of jars just like this one with dreams that he has captured. He even has some that are nightmares. BFG has extraordinarily large ears that allow him to hear very soft sounds, such as the dreams, so he knows what they are about. He even says he can hear plants, flowers, and bugs walking on a leaf. After they share a meal of a horrible vegetable called a snozcumber, which is all the BFG eats, he decides to take Sophie to Dream Country to catch some dreams. He puts Sophie in his pocket, and they decide to get by the other giants while they are sleeping. The giants wake up, however, and they begin throwing BFG around with Sophie in his pocket. He finally gets away, and they make it to Dream Country. There they catch this golden fizz wizard that I have right here in this jar. The fizz wizard is a wonderful, happy dream. However, they also catch a frightening troggle-humper, which is a horrible bad dream that thrashes around the jar that BFG puts it in. When they return, BFG gets the idea to give a nightmare to one of the giants, and he dreams that Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk is after him, and it causes the giants to get in a big fight, which Sophie finds very amusing. The next day, the giants tell BFG that they are off to England to grab some children from the girls' and boys' boarding schools. Sophie decides that she should tell the Queen of England, but because she would not normally listen to a little girl, they decide to make her a dream where they tell her about the giants and what the giants are going to do. BFG mixes a nightmare from his jars that has both Sophie and the BFG in it, along with the names of all the other 9 giants. It works, and they're invited to the palace to eat breakfast with the Queen. Will the Queen be willing to help Sophie and the BFG defeat the other giants and save the children from being eaten? If you want to find out, you need to check out this book. Sweet dreams. Good morning, 8th graders, and welcome to the library. Mars has a million different ways to kill you. For thousands, if not millions of years, people have wondered if there is life on other planets, or if it would be possible to live on another planet. Although we have so far only been to the moon, our nearest planet, Mars, has often been the subject of much speculation as to whether or not it is habitable or able to be lived on. Here is a picture of the highest peak on Mars. It's called Olympus Mons, named after Mount Olympus in Greece. Governments have funded science and space programs to send unmanned probes to visit Mars and take samples of the atmosphere and the planet itself. NASA's Phoenix Mars lander has taken some pictures of the surface when it landed on Mars. There's the Mars lander, or Phoenix. There are even programs that exist to explore the prospect of building a colony on the planet in case we ever needed to abandon our planet here and search for a new home. That is exactly where we meet our protagonist, Sean Doe, in the book, Mars, Year One, Marooned. Sean is on his way to meet his adopted mom, who is a scientist that lives on the colony on the planet Mars in the year 2085. He was born in a small village in the country of Scotland, but bioterrorists destroyed his village and only a few people survived, including Sean. He was taken to America where, after years of testing, he was placed in the foster system, where he ran away and lived on the streets. However, one of the scientists who had worked with him, named Amanda Simic, decides to find him and adopt him. His life improves greatly, but about a year and a half later, his mom decides to join the colony on Mars, which is called the Asimov Project. Sean is sent to live with friends until the time that he will be old enough to join Amanda on Mars. Sean has a sixth sense that allows him to discern the future, and he doesn't quite understand it very well, but he knows that Earth will not survive much longer. He is finally allowed to go to Mars along with a group of other adults that are joining the colony. When he arrives, he is introduced to a group of young people that have been living and studying on the planet. He has to learn how to walk with a lower amount of gravity, to eat very tasteless and boring food, and how to survive all the dangers of being on a foreign planet. He also has to study and do well in school, which he does not enjoy, but if he doesn't keep up his grades, he's going to be sent back to Earth. He spends a lot of his time with his best friends Alex and Jenny. Of course, there's also a bully named Mickey who loves to give him a hard time. Now, sometimes they have to go out and repair the windmills that are providing electricity to the colony. It's a very dangerous job because they're really tall, and there's a lot of strong winds that cause dust storms on the planet, and they damage the windmills, and sometimes they even damage the buildings. There are some close calls, but Sean survives, and he now feels like he's becoming a valuable member of the colony. At the end of the term, Sean has worked hard and gotten a GPA high enough to attend a special trip during their spring break called the Bradbury Run. It's a flight across the planet to take measurements of the flight path of these oxygen-laden asteroids that are being flung onto the planet from the moon. There's an accident during the trip, and a daring rescue must be attempted. And when they finally make it back to the colony, they learn that Earth is on its way to being destroyed with wars, famine, and disease. Kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? They must make a choice whether to stay on the planet with Earth's support, or without Earth's support, or to return to a world that might just be destroyed. This story is full of action and adventure and explores the themes of survival and friendship and overcoming adversity and family ties. I myself enjoyed the reference to my favorite science fiction author, Isaac Asimov, and my favorite fantasy and sci-fi author, Ray Bradbury. The story is fast-paced and it's an easy read, but with some drama among the characters to keep it interesting. If you've ever been interested in what life might be like on another planet, you should check out this book and find out what happens to the Asimov colony. And if you like it, there are 2 more books in the series that continue the story.